What if you're visiting Portsmouth for the very first time and you want to find out information about local sites and events, even restaurant options? Where do you go to get that information? What if you're a longtime Portsmouth resident, but you haven't kept up on what's going on in the city? Where do you go? The answer is right here at the Welcome Center on High Street. On today's show, we'll tell you all about it, and we'll also take a look at upcoming special events in the month of August. All that's coming up right here, right now on this episode of Portsmouth Now. Welcome to this August 2022 episode of Portsmouth Now. I'm your host, Rob Lauer, and welcome to the Portsmouth Welcome Center here on High Street, just across the street from the Children's Museum of Virginia. If you want to find out what's going on in the city, then besides watching our show, this is the place to come. I'm going to head inside and talk to James McCann, who will tell us all about this beautiful new facility. James, welcome to Portsmouth Now.
Oh, thank you, Rob. Thank you for having me.
Okay, so the Welcome Center in Portsmouth, this is quite a different setup than what we had for decades over on the waterside, portside area.
Right, yeah, it is definitely much better, much more modern, and people seem to love it a lot more, and definitely a lot better flow of traffic as well.
Yeah, well, a great location. It really is right here in the first block of High Street, in Old Town. So if someone comes here, what's inside? What can they find at the Welcome Center?
So they'll find a variety of things inside. They'll find merchandise, souvenirs. They'll find a extensive brochure list of all the different attractions, dining, lodging around the region, or the local area, but also the region as well. We carry pamphlets and brochures from all across the state here. So if somebody's coming through, they're passing through, or they're just trying to plan their next trip, this is a great spot for them.
Okay, no, great. So as we're filming this, it is the last Wednesday in July. And say if today someone was just to walk in, they just got off the highway, they just arrived in the area, this is their first stop coming to Hampton Roads, is here in Portsmouth. They walk in and they want to know what's there to do around here. What types of things would you recommend?
I would say that they picked a great time. There's a variety of walking tours here. We have 9 different walking tours, self-guiding tours. We have guided tours. We have multiple exhibits going on over at the Portsmouth Art Cultural Center. We have a concert going on at the Jewish Museum and Cultural Center tonight at 6 p.m., 7 p.m. Then there's a variety of history that they can have at their fingertips here. There really is a great amount of time. I mean, along all the different local restaurants, there's always a variety of talented musicians down there. So at any given time, they're going to have a great night or a great day.
So you can recommend restaurants. They say, is there a good seafood place here? Or we'd like a nice sit-down dinner, or maybe we'd like sandwiches. You could recommend. Tell them what's on around here.
Oh, absolutely. Our staff here is very versed in everything around the city. They can tell them the times, the hours, whether they have kids menus, whether they have specific allergies or things like that, where to go, where not to go. And it's a pretty extensive list.
You mentioned something in your spiel a few minutes ago about music being played. What we don't really get into it in this show, but a lot of the restaurants here in Old Town, they do have live music throughout the week.
Almost every day, yes.
Yeah,
and they get quite a fan collection of those places as well.
So you basically know what's playing at any given time?
Oh yes, we can tell you when they're playing, what bands are playing. Especially on our website, we try to keep it up to date so people know ahead of time, because a lot of people like where their musicians are playing.
And then this makes you a great go-to place then for residents of Portsmouth.
Oh, absolutely.
Maybe who just don't know what's going on down here.
Yeah, this is a really great spot. I mean, we get people coming in that said they've lived in Portsmouth for 20 years and they had no idea that the visitor center was here or that there was a lightship along the seawall. And we were like, well, you just came to the right spot because we can fill you in on everything.
That's great. So you're here, what are some of your favorite things?
So I don't have a particular favorite thing because there's so much that I love about downtown Portsmouth. Specifically because there's a tremendous amount of history here. There's centuries of history here.
Yeah.
And then going outside of the downtown region, I love to hike and nature, and so Paradise Creek and Hoffler Creek, those are phenomenal places I love to go as well.
Yeah. And people can find out about those as well here.
Oh, absolutely. We have all kinds of stuff. And when they have programs or classes or workshops going on, we'll know about that and we'll push it out to the public.
So you really are the go-to information place about Portsmouth.
We really are, yeah.
Okay. And can people call in as well?
Yeah, so they can call in our number at any given time, and our staff, will inform them the best that they can.
What is that number?
So the number is 757-393-5111, and that'll take us right here to the Welcome Center, and the staff will greet them and, pursue that conversation.
And you mentioned a website as well. So
Yes, so if you go to visitportsva.com, we'll have an extensive amount of stuff on there. We have, digital brochures for most of the things that we have in here. We have walking tours on there, events that are coming up, restaurants, hours, things, menus, things like that on there as well.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us today and telling us about this. And if you haven't been to the Welcome Center, for sure, check it out. It is right across the street from the Children's Museum of Virginia on High Street. And it is a beautiful facility. And there are great people like James here who will help answer all your questions, tell you anything you need to know. Thanks for joining us, James.
Thank you, Rob.
The Children's Museum of Virginia on High Street in Old Town Portsmouth continues to be wildly popular with locals and with tourists. Besides 2 huge floors loaded with fun-filled, interactive exhibits and displays, there's also a special exhibit room downstairs featuring exhibits from other museums across the country. Our next guest is Erin Colston, and she's going to tell us what's happening at the museum this summer. Erin, welcome to Portsmouth Now.
Thank you very much.
Right now, you are a newcomer to the Children's Museum of Virginia, so why don't you introduce yourself to our viewers?
Sure. My name is Erin Colston, and I am the manager of the Children's Museum of Virginia. I have been thrilled to be in this position for just about a year now, and I really enjoy working with the kids and the families and the school groups that we have coming into the museum. I spent the last 15 years of my career working with the YMCA in operations and education and programming.
Okay.
So I am no stranger to the fun and craziness that is the Children's Museum.
And it is crazy over there today.
Yes, it's a little busy today.
Yes. But it really, I said in our introduction, it's wildly popular. It really is. This has to be one of the most popular attractions we've ever had in Portsmouth. And I think we're really lucky to have a facility like this.
I completely agree.
Managing it now, that's great.
Thank you.
So now there is a traveling exhibit room that changes several times throughout the year, and there's currently a special exhibit there that I hear very good things about. Kids love it. Can you tell us about that?
It's awesome. We currently have Jim Henson's Splash and Bubbles, Dive In, Lend a Fin in our changing gallery at the Children's Museum. It's an underwater adventure designed specifically for preschool through early elementary age kids. It focuses on oceanography, basic biology concepts, as well as social interactions and some social emotional learning concepts. So it's everything from what happens in the deep, deep, dark ocean to what kinds of fish exist and what's a mammal versus a fish versus an invertebrate, to how do we help take care of our oceans today.
That's great, considering where we're located.
Exactly, right?
Yeah, now where does this exhibit originate? I know that the permanent exhibits here, of course, are made in-house, but these traveling exhibits, they come from basically other organizations and museums around the country, don't they?
Yes, they do. This is one of our exhibits from another children's museum, the Children's Museum of Minnesota.
Okay, that's a very well-known children's museum too.
Yes.
So tell us what else is going on at the Children's Museum these days.
We have tons of fun stuff. So for the summer, up until Labor Day weekend, we are open Tuesday through Sunday from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. So we have an extra day.
Okay.
And Tuesdays this summer are 2 for Tuesdays. So 2 for $10. So we have $5 admission on Tuesdays. So it's meant to encourage families to come and visit, but also to make it a little more accessible for everybody in the community. In addition to that, we have some super fun second Saturday and second Sunday programming. So every second Saturday has a theme. This past second Saturday, we had pirates and princesses traveling through our museum on a treasure hunt. On the second Saturday in August, we're having Heroes Day. Kids will get a chance to make their own superhero mask and identity and go on a mission while they're in the museum. And in addition to that, every second Sunday, we are offering sensory time or sensory Sundays in the morning. So from 9 a.m. until noon, it's supposed to be as calming as a children's museum can be.
I was thinking.
From 9 a.m. until noon, we have reduced lights and reduced sounds in the museum, as well as slightly reduced admission so that it's a little more accessible for some of our friends who might struggle in the loud and chaotic environment that's normally the museum.
And it is.
Yes.
And one usually thinks of a museum as very quiet and peaceful, almost like a library.
Right.
That is not the case
No,
at the Children's Museum
when
of
it's
Virginia.
quiet at the Children's Museum, we're probably closed.
Think more theme park almost.
Exactly, yes.
Okay. Now, for someone who has not been there, and I know that there are probably thousands of residents here in Portsmouth who have never, maybe they don't have small children, they just have never been to the Children's Museum. Tell us a little bit about the permanent exhibits. I mean, there are 2 huge floors.
Yes.
And this is not a boring museum. These
No.
are all interactive things that kids like.
Yes. So the entire museum is designed to be interactive play, and everything in the museum is STEM or STEAM based. So science, technology, engineering, art, and math are throughout the museum and every exhibit that we have. The first floor is designed like you're walking through a downtown street. So you literally will see a roadway on the floor. On one side, it's just like you're a downtown Portsmouth. You'll see the port, you'll see the ships. There'll be a tugboat that you can play on. There's a room full of bubbles you can experience. And as you turn down the street, you can ride a bus, you can go in and out of the shops downtown while you learn about the community around you. So it's everything from the grocery store to Happy Paws, where you're exploring what it's like to be a vet or to groom your animal. You can even play on a fire truck and talk about safety in our community. The other thing that's really cool is as you head upstairs, the exhibits skew a little bit older, but they're just as fun for all ages. You can experience basic physics and science concepts in Dr. Forces, where you can race a car, blow a rocket up.
And that's like a circus.
It
It's
is like a giant
circus
circus,
tent.
yes. And then you can hop across the way to my backyard where you explore our environment, the community that we're in, as well as basic conservation concepts. And then you get to explore art and art-related activities in our creativity exhibit, which has constantly changing pieces in it about not only art as we traditionally think of it, but architecture and the world around us. In addition, when you visit the Children's Museum, you get to participate in our Make It Take It studio and make a craft. And then on the weekends, our STEM studio is open. We have additional science programming.
Now, one thing downstairs that would appeal to some kids, but also adults of all ages who maybe had model trains when they were kids.
Yes.
There's the train collection. there,
Absolutely.
Which is a phenomenal
We have an
layout.
out of this world, planetarium pun intended, train collection. Our Lancaster train collection downstairs is incredible. You can see the entire scape of Virginia as you watch model trains travel across the state. And you can even find the Children's Museum in the exhibit if you look hard enough.
Oh, great. All right. Now, coming up, looking ahead in the fall, are there things planned, maybe that you don't have the details of yet, but are there things like classes or workshops or fall events?
Absolutely.
There's fall events coming up.
Yeah.
You can maybe just give us a
Sure, a
sneak
little
preview at-
sampling.
Yeah.
So we do offer planetarium shows every day we're open. So even through the fall, there'll be multiple planetarium offerings. So I would encourage people to check online at childrensmuseumvirginia.com. That's where all the planetarium shows will be listed, and those change every month, so it gives you a new opportunity to see things. In addition, this September, we will be having Special Day for Special Needs on Sunday, September 11th. That's an opportunity for families and caregivers to come and visit at a reduced cost and do additional sensory activities in our museum. We'll also be hosting Toddler Days, which encourages kids under the age of 5 to come in and play and interact with their families with some activities geared specifically towards that age group. And in addition to that, we'll be hosting Maker Fest again on Saturday, September 24th. It's making its comeback after the pandemic, and we're excited to offer that experience not only at the Children's Museum, but at our other sites as well.
That's fantastic. Now, you can buy tickets for a day. Can you buy season passes?
Absolutely. So you can buy tickets online daily, or you can buy a membership, which gives you access to the museum all year for one low rate. And we have memberships from individual up to families of 8 or more. So we have an option for everybody.
Well, fantastic. Well, thank you so much for
Thank
taking
you.
time out of your crazy, busy, hectic day and breathing a little with us,
Yes.
having some quiet before you head back. Thank you
Awesome.
so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
And be sure to check out the Children's Museum of Virginia. If you have not been there, you will be impressed. You'll love it. And if there are children in your life, for sure, take them. We probably have all found ourselves in this situation we have an old computer or some old electronic equipment, maybe some old tires that we need to get rid of. We can't stuff them in the trash can. And maybe we have old paint or old car oil. We don't want to dump it in the backyard. What do we do? Where do we take things like this? Our next guest is Waste Management Manager Amos Taylor, and he's going to tell us an event coming up that will help us solve this problem. Amos, welcome to Portsmouth Now.
Thank you.
Now, you're here to tell us about an event coming up in August, and this will be of great interest to people who have stuff laying around their house, paint, maybe chemicals, things like that, that they can't put it in their trash can, they know that, but they don't want to dump it in the backyard either.
Right. We don't want to do that either.
Right. So tell us about this event and what its purpose is.
Okay. So what we're going to be having, Rob, on August the 6th, we're going to be having what we call a household hazardous waste event. And at this event, what happens is people can bring out several types of items. We do this event 3 times a year. It's a really good event for our citizens here in Portsmouth. And they can bring out items for goodwill, if they have things they want to get rid of that are gently used, because we want people to reduce, reuse, and recycle. Mm-hmm. So for those ladies who they're buying new shoes and they want to get rid of those old ones because they make room for the new ones, they can bring those out, and clothes and items that they're not using. We also will take electronics, old computers, television sets, those types of items. If they want to bring those out. We also will do household hazardous waste, which means they can bring out fertilizer, up to 5 gallons of paint, car batteries, kids' children's batteries, batteries that you put inside of other items that they like to bring out. Any of those, gasoline, any of those things that they like to bring as well. We also will have document shredding going on that day.
Okay.
So citizens can bring out various documents that they don't want to put in the trash, that they don't want people to get their hands on, especially in today's world and society.
Right. And
they can bring those out, and we will have those shredded on site for them. Okay. And we also have the Lions Club out that day. And the Lions Club comes out, and if you wear eyeglasses like myself and you have a new pair, you can donate your old glasses. They also accept hearing aids, and they take cell phones as well. And along with that, people go crazy over the Lions Club sells these awesome brooms. And so they'll have those out that day too for sale. And being that it's back to school time, we also will take we will take donations to go to Portsmouth Public Schools for our Portsmouth school children. If people would like to donate a notebook, a pack of pencils, crayons, to go to a book bag to go to Portsmouth Public Schools.
But that really hits a lot of buttons. That
yes,
really,
it does.
So this is really a great time for a citizen to basically go through the house and get rid of that stuff that maybe has been laying around the house, in the closet, in a room somewhere,
yes,
in a back shed, in a garage, waiting to know what to do with it.
Right.
Now this is for private citizens. This is not for businesses, my understanding. So
correct.
If you have a business in Portsmouth, you can't bring all of your documents to be shredded.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
And if you're a chemical company, you don't bring your chemical.
Exactly.
But this is for people who living in neighborhoods and houses that just
right. And it's to help our citizens help keep their properties up and to beautify Portsmouth. And we want our citizens to have a place to take those things safely, to bring them. And so that's why we hold these events, so that they can bring them to us.
Okay, now where is the event itself?
The event is going to be at IC Northam High School, and it's going to be from 9 a.m. till noon. And as long as you're in line by noon, you will be serviced.
And what is the date of that again?
The date of the event is going to be August the 6th.
August the 6th. Northam High School.
Yes, sir.
Great. Now, if someone has questions, is there a number they can call or a
yes, sir.
website?
Yes, they can call our office, which the number is 757-393-8663, and they can also look on the Portsmouth website, and there's information there. And we also try to promote it on the radio and on the news.
Great, fantastic. Well, good luck. Now, what has turnout been like in the past?
Really, really great. We've had huge success with this program. We've had as many as 700 cars to come out sometimes.
Wow. And I will just say, last week when I was exploring this and setting up the interview, I was told by several people they thought this was the best organized event the city does all year.
Yeah,
two people tell me that.
We really try hard. Our team works really, really hard. Our volunteers are great when they come out for this event. And I think it's a huge success because you don't even have to get out of your car. You sit right in your car, we'll take everything out and dispose of it as fast and quickly and get you back on your way.
Well, fantastic. Well, thank you so much for dropping by and telling us about it.
Thanks for having us, Rob. We really appreciate it.
You're so welcome.
Thank you.
Hey, Portsmouth, are you ready for?
National Night Out is back. Hello, I'm Mayor Shannon Glover, and this is my friend, the Dare Lion. There will be food, games, live music, bounce houses, an art contest, and plenty of activities for everyone. We dare you to join us for a Lion of a Time. Visit the Portsmouth Police website at portsmouthpd.us for more information.
For more news you can use, listen to the City of Portsmouth's new podcast, Let's Talk Portsmouth, the podcast series that just may change your perspective. Find our podcast on Spotify, the Podbean app, or Amazon Music Audible.
When you become a Portsmouth police officer, you become the change you want to see. We have a sprawling lineup of career paths for you to explore. Sign on today and receive up to $1,500 if you are already Virginia certified. We offer a $1,000 allowance for a bachelor's degree and $500 for an associate's degree on top of your base pay.
So, do you want to join the team?
For 50 years, the Portsmouth Seawall Art Show has been one of the city's premier annual events. Earlene Lampman joins us next with the scoop on this year's show. Earlene, welcome back to Portsmouth Now.
Well, thank you. It's nice to be here on this lovely warm day.
It is very warm. Luckily, we're inside with the air conditioning.
Absolutely.
But there is an outdoor event coming up soon. You're here to tell us about
There
it. And that is the
certainly
Seawall
is.
Art Show.
The Seawall Art Show will be on the 27th and 28th of August, right here on High Street from Crawford to Court. We're not exactly sure how many exhibitors we will have. You know, it's been 3 years since we were here, and some of our exhibitors had to find other gigs because they couldn't count on this. Yeah. So if there's anybody out there who is still thinking about becoming an exhibitor, they need to get in touch with me very quickly on the website, which is www.seawallartshow.org.
Okay, all right. Now, what types of art do we have in the art show?
We actually have just about everything, from jewelry, of course, to wood, to clay, to pencil drawing. We have several demonstrations this year, which is really wonderful. We actually have 3. 2 of them will be together, but one will be demonstrating basket weaving. The other is demonstrating something new called paverpal, which is it turns out almost like concrete, but it's this goopy looking stuff that she puts fabric in, and then she creates dolls and faces and all kinds of things. She is from West Lafayette, Indiana, so she's coming a long way.
Okay.
She's a good friend and she wanted to come. The other person demonstrating with her is a basket weaver, and as you know, I am a basket weaver. So
I didn't know that.
Oh,
I
well, I am.
know.
And I pushed a little because I really wanted to have that. And then the Tidewater Turners, who work in wood, are going to be here demonstrating as well. And they're going to have a little gift for all the children that they are making. So it's going to be a fun 2 days. It's going to be from 10 to 5 on Saturday and 10 to 5 on Sunday. Some places it says 10 to 6 because they got the wrong information. But that is the plan. Okay?
And you mentioned kids, so this is a great family event.
Absolutely. Now, we do not have food vendors. I have to tell the public that. And the reason? We're surrounded by restaurants.
Right.
And they're good restaurants.
And you have to walk through the art to get to the restaurant.
Exactly. So we want a little bit for everybody.
Great, that's great. Now, 50 years been going, but you told me before we started rolling something I didn't know. It's actually, there have been 50...
We've had 52 years that would have, let me say this right. In 2020, That would have been our 50th anniversary.
Okay.
But as you know, there was no show.
Right.
So we thought, okay, 2021. Well, that didn't fly either. So we are celebrating our 50th anniversary with this show. We're just going to pretend those other 2 years did not exist.
But actually, but the show has been around for 52 years, but this is the 50th one.
This is the 50th public appearance, we'll put it that way. Okay.
Where did this start? How did this start? Can you tell
It
us a little
started
about
with a
history?
group of people that thought it would be a good idea, and it actually started in a parking garage.
Okay.
And then it made its way out to the streets, and the city got involved. And really, this is a really good event for the city, because not only do the artists get to show all their wares and sell all their things, and everybody gets to see these wonderful creations, but the restaurants benefit.
Yeah.
Everything downtown benefits.
Oh, yeah.
So we're really Portsmouth pushing. You know, we want everybody to know about downtown Portsmouth.
Well, that's great. So give us the dates and times one more time.
Okay, the 27th and 28th, that's a Saturday and Sunday, and they will see the artists setting up if they happen to be down here on that Friday.
Okay.
And it is from 10 to 5 each day.
All right. And the website again, if they want information?
www.seawallartshow.org.
All right. Thank you so much for
Thank
joining
you,
us.
Rob. It was fun.
It was. The Portsmouth Paddle Battle splashes down the Elizabeth River for a second time on September 10th. Here's Gary Bahina to tell us all about it. Gary, welcome back to Portsmouth Now.
Thank you, Rob.
So this is the second annual paddle battle coming up in September. Tell us a little bit about it. What is a paddle battle?
Well, the paddle battle is a few things. First, it's a race. It's a race using kayaks and stand-up paddleboards. We race from High Street Basin, just down the street from where we are right now, all the way up to the Hammerhead Crane and back. We have different racing age group categories and experience group categories, 5 in all. And then it's also a family event, an outdoor family event. So we have live music starting at 11:30 with Dan Rosnato, and then Soul Intent in the afternoon for our main act. We have good food, we have good beverages for children, we have children's events. We're giving away free coloring books and packs of crayons while they last with the Portsmouth Lightship on the cover.
Okay.
We had those printed up, the print had those printed up a number of years ago. And this year we're adding face painting.
Okay.
And we also have the Tidewater Maritime reenactors coming, and they do maritime reenacting and educational activities for the kids.
Gary, you mentioned the route of the paddle battle was up to the Hammerhead Crane and then coming back. In that area of the river, are people usually allowed to paddle in that part of the river?
We don't see a lot of paddling or kayaking in the river. You see some kayaks with fishing poles on them, but rarely. It's really a unique event because this is a major working river. We have commercial ships, we have Navy ships coming up and down, in addition to the usual pleasure traffic. But it is a very unusual experience to see people kayaking, using small kayaks, using paddle boards where you have nothing really to protect yourself, going up to the Hammerhead Crane and back. And it's a wonderful experience to watch. Last year we had a good demonstration of how this is a working river. About the time that the second crew was turning around and coming back from the Hammerhead Crane, a large commercial chemical tanker came down the Elizabeth. And we have pictures on our website of individual paddlers really racing against with the silhouette of the ship behind them, racing against the ship to get home to the finish line. And it really was a good experience, a good demonstration of how this is a working river. This is
Sounds like an adventure too.
It was, and we were very grateful for the Coast Guard for this event for safety reasons. Coast Guard puts out bulletins in advance, and then right before, and then all morning of the event, the Coast Guard's putting out bulletins. So we're grateful for the tug operators who kept that ship down to a no wake, which is difficult to do with a large ship like that, so that nobody was disturbed while they were racing.
All right, so will all of this be at the end of High Street in front of the Naval Shipyard Museum?
Yes, it'll be in front of the Naval Shipyard Museum. The earliest activities start at 10 for the kids, and the day ends at 4:30.
Okay, and is the paddle battle, or these are, you said, a number of events, so those start a little later in the morning?
The first race starts at 11 o'clock, so we have everybody in the water by 10:30, milling about.
Okay.
First race starts at 11 o'clock and they go off in half-an-hour increments.
All right, now to be in the race, do you need to register ahead of time? Is there a registration fee?
Yes. If they go to portsmouthpaddlebattle.org or just Google Portsmouth Paddle Battle, it'll take you to our website. The fee is $35. If you want to buy t-shirts, that's an extra $15. And that's, you can register online, you can pay online, and you're ready to go when you show up for the event Saturday morning.
Sounds like a lot of fun. Now tell us about the organization that's sponsoring this and what the purpose of, where the money goes, what you're raising money for.
The paddle battle is being sponsored by the Friends of the Portsmouth Naval Shipyard Museum. The Friends have been around in one form or another since 1962 and were originally responsible for moving the Shipyard Museum from the Naval Shipyard to where it is right now at the bottom of High Street. In the early years, the Friends staffed it until the 70s. We were the entire staff, other than one paid executive director and one paid secretary by the city. Nowadays, we are more interested in raising money for the Shipyard Museum and for the Lightship Portsmouth Museum, and in helping put on programming. We put on a lecture series, for instance, for the shipyard.
Okay, so I'm aware of those. I thought the city sponsored those, but it's actually...
we put those on.
Wow. Okay.
We have a big one coming up next Wednesday on the history of dry docks at the shipyard, and then we have a really big one coming up December 7th, Pearl Harbor Day.
Okay.
Featuring the current shipyard commander, past shipyard commander, and another senior person from the shipyard talking about the state of the shipyard.
All right. Now, if people wanted to find out more about those, do they go to the museum's website?
They can go to the museum's website, or they can go to Friends of Portsmouth Naval Shipyard Museum website. It's friendsofpsnm.org, and they will find out more information about those events.
All right.
The other thing we do is like I said, we raise money for the two museums.
Okay, and explain what the two museums are, because I know you think of the Naval Shipyard Museum, but there's another museum that people don't necessarily think of as a museum, and that would be?
The Lightship Portsmouth Museum. So the Lightship Portsmouth, everybody sees at the bottom of London Street. And that is what you see when you're coming across the ferry from Norfolk, or going over to Norfolk in the ferry, or just you're a tourist and you're coming down by boat on the Elizabeth.
That red ship pops out.
That nice red ship just pops out. So we raise money for the Lightship as well. One of the things we're doing right now is the Lightship's air conditioning is down. So we've been asked by the museum's director, Dr. Alex Benitez, if we would contribute $10,000 toward the cost of replacing the air conditioning. And so we're ready to do that as soon as the air conditioning shows up.
Okay. And so really, when you register for the paddle battle, that's where your money's going.
Last year's proceeds from the events and this year's and next year's are actually going toward an exhibit that we're creating, and this is the third thing that the paddle battle is about. It's an exhibit that we're creating, we hope to create for the Lightship Museum. It'll be the first interactive electronic exhibit that the Lightship Museum has ever had. And what we're doing is we're putting together an oral history on the lives of shipyard workers, multi-generation, some families going back into the 1800s, and what it was like to be a shipyard worker, a shipyard worker's family, and to live and grow up in Portsmouth. Yeah. So it's a very Portsmouth story. I say we're putting together, actually it's being put together by the TV production students at IC Norcom High School. They have a career and technical education TV production class. And so what the Friends have done is, this past year in the fall, we put together a workshop. We hired 2 experts, including one from the Smithsonian, to come and teach the students how to do an oral history, because it's different than the kind of journalism you and I are doing right now. They did that over a 2-week period. Actually, it may have been a 3-week period. The students did exercises, trials, we did trial interviews, trial tapings, and then the students spent all spring interviewing 10 people who represented different families at different times. Some were younger, some were in their 20s, just started working at the shipyard. Others were in their late 70s and had retired after 41 woman, I think 46 years.
Wow.
So they interviewed those people, they looked back at their histories, what it was like in Portsmouth, the parades they went to, the schools they went to, what it was like, because for a lot of them, They started out in segregated schools, and a lot of them got to talk about what it was like, whether they were middle school or high school when it went to integration. And they put that together, and we hope to debut that sometime this fall.
That is fantastic, and that is something that's very much needed, I think. There are people still alive who remember what it was like in the shipyard in Portsmouth during World War II.
Yes,
and,
there are.
And they're fast going. And it is a Portsmouth story, but it's also, in that respect, it's a national story too.
It is. When you listen to what guided everybody, the young and the old that we've interviewed, there's a real sense at the shipyard that they are part of the Navy mission.
Yeah.
When you ask them what they're doing, and if you ask them, do you get along with other people? Well, of course we have to. That's how we service the fleet. And their newsletter is called Service to the Fleet. So there's a real sense that they are part of that military operation, and so it is a national story.
Wow, that is fantastic. Well, thank you, and thank the organization for all that they're doing. Not just in helping the museum and in helping preserve this history. I think you're really doing something for not just, like I said, everybody here in Portsmouth, but also nationally, because the Portsmouth story really is part of the national story.
It is. Thank you very much.
So thank you for joining us, and be sure to check out the Paddle Battle. It sounds like a fun afternoon for the entire family. Well, that's it for our show today. If you'd like more information about any of the events covered on today's show or any other upcoming events, simply log on to www.portsvacation.com and then come to Portsmouth, where if you give us a day, we'll give you a vacation. I'm Rob Lauer. Join me next month for another episode of Portsmouth Now.